What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics. Today, for the first time ever, at least on an album reaction, we have a Madonna reaction with her album I'm Breathless, brought to us by a friend and patron of the channel. His first album reaction, Doug. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate all the patrons that make this thing go. If you'd like to support us in any way, check out the Patreon link below or the patron link on the end screen. Now, I grew up as a child of the 80s, right? So obviously I know Madonna super well. Used to be a big fan early on. Then it was just oversaturation, but she was a brilliant, brilliant artist. And I know some of you watching this are big Madonna fans, I'm sure, and you're going to say she still is. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I tell people, like, in retrospect, like, her and Michael Jackson, like, they were kind of even in the 80s. For, there's no one bigger. Like, it was amazing, and run into the 90s. This album, however, I don't really know. And it's taken from, and I'll get into all of it in a minute, but I don't really know this album at all. I know one song, and this song wasn't even meant to be on this album. It was just thrown on after as an afterthought, which was quite intelligent. But let's jump into it. Doug says, I love this album and was completely blown away on my first listening. It was an accompanying piece with the movie Dick Tracy in 1990, in which there were 4 songs written by Stephen Sondheim. Sooner or Later won the Academy Award for Best Original Song. Madonna actually got a vocal coach so she could hit some tougher notes on the Sondheim songs. I was really into early jazz and swing music at the time, and this album seemed like Madonna recorded this album just for me, and that's always a great experience. So some quick facts on this. Released in May of 1990 by Sire Records to accompany the film Dick Tracy. It contains 4 songs that were used in the film. 3 of them are performed by Madonna herself in the movie. These are Sooner or Later, which we already talked about more, and What Can You Lose are written by, of course, Stephen Sondheim. The 4th being Now I'm Following You is written by Andy Paley, Jeff Last, Ned Claflin, and Jonathan Paley, but performed by Andy Paley in the movie. All other songs, in addition, are written by Madonna with Patrick Leonard, with the exception, of course, of Vogue, and we'll get to that later. That is that last song added on, which was written with Shep Pettibone. All were inspired by, but not included in the film. Madonna starred as Breathless Mahoney along with her then-boyfriend Warren Beatty, who played the title role, Dick Tracy. After filming was complete, Madonna began work on the album with Sondheim, producer Patrick Leonard, and engineer Bill Bottrell. She also worked with producer Shep Pettibone on the album's first single, Vogue, which originally wasn't intended for the album, but written as a B-side for the single Keep It Together. The album was recorded in 3 weeks at Johnny Yuma Recording in Ocean Way Studios in Los Angeles. Music critics applauded the Sondheim numbers along with Madonna's vocals and versatility. However, some deemed the non-film songs to be of little value. Sooner or Later, one of the Sondheim tracks, went on to win the Academy Award for Best Original Song, as Doug mentioned. Breathless was commercially successful, peaking at number 1 on the European Top 100 albums, as well as the national charts of Australia, Germany, and Japan, and the latter became the country's best-selling foreign album of the year, went to 2 in the US, and has sold over 7 million copies worldwide. It's one of 3 soundtracks released alongside the film, the others being the Dick Tracy original soundtrack and an orchestral score by the great Danny Elfman. This album is a jazz, swing, and pop album where Madonna and Sondheim tried to recreate the music of the period portrayed in Dick Tracy. According to Ricky Rooksby, author of The Complex Guide to the Music of Madonna, the harmonic and melodic styles were more complex than the songs which Madonna was accustomed to. Hence, she found it difficult and demanding. She spoke about the wilderness of the tunes, saying that she was not confident of doing justice to the songs, and neither was Sondheim. But he kept on encouraging the singer so that the recording sessions would not be affected. Madonna also recruited producer Patrick Leonard and engineer Bill Bottrell to help her with the project. She and Leonard toiled to create music that would fit the style and production of the film, set in the days of the Untouchables law enforcement, so 20s and 30s, 1920s and 30s. The singer and Leonard enlisted a 10-piece live band and jazz musicians. The songs on the album reflect Madonna's showgirl personality, where her singing ranged from rootsy rocking in nature to slow, laid-back, and soulful vocals. Some of the songs have Madonna pitching her vocals and belting the notes only when necessary. A dryness was prevalent in most of the singing, which was required for the songs in the setting. Here's why. Guy Pratt, who also played bass on this album, said that Madonna, quote, was in character and started smoking. She actually pounced a cigarette off me. Her character smoked, so therefore she did. You gotta get into the art, right? In the soundtrack album, Listening to Media in 2020, editors explained that the trend of releasing albums with the concept music from and inspired by, which you see all the time now, began in large part due to the success of Prince's Batman album in 1989 and this album, I'm Breathless. Others discussed how Madonna would introduce Stephen Sondheim to a newer audience in her generation, and tons of even music critics and authors talk about that. It was included in a number of critics' lists. It appeared at number 5 in the 1990 Pop and Jop Dean's list of the Village Voice, which the Village Voice was very, very prestigious back then. Slant Magazine recognized it as one of the 10 best albums of 1990. So, yeah, a lot of acclaim for this. So if you haven't ever joined us before, the music will not be in the video, but it will be at a Vimeo link below. So follow along with us. Let's jump into this thing. With the first track, you have He's a Man, written by Madonna and Patrick Leonard. I'll have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, Doug. All right, He's a Man, a good opener, right? I would not have even known that was Madonna if you wouldn't have told me that. And I'm sure in 1990, I mean, I would have hated this album because I was 19 years old and my musical taste was not that refined and mature, but I actually liked that. I thought that was really good. I thought it had some good cinematic flair to it, right? You get the little interludes in there. I mean, she's basically singing to Dick Tracy that, look, you're all alone. Why do you got to go out and fight all the bad guys? Come over to me. You know, some definitely flirtatious things in there, you know, in the chorus halfway through it. So here's my advice. Take your love on the run. Oh, God, let me be the one. And I don't mean with a gun. So, you know, she's flirting with him, man. So let's go. And next up, we have that Oscar-winning best song that Stephen Sondheim wrote, the song Sooner or Later. It's the 1930s. As I talked about in the beginning, right? They were trying to set the tone. I thought that first song did it. I felt like I was in the 1930s with that song, right? And this one's a 1930s style jazz ballad with piano, drum, double bass, and horns. The track conjures up the atmosphere of a smoky nightclub. Madonna sings in her lowest register, accompanied by a variable pitch. So let's do it. Sooner or later, you could definitely feel the Sondheim influence. I mean, he's wrote a ton of musical theater, right? He wrote West Side Story was the first, like he ended up winning 8 Tonys and all kind of Pulitzer Prize along with the Grammy, Emmys, all that good stuff. So he's just a genius. You could definitely feel it. This one really put me in that time period. And I know Madonna performed this song at the Oscars, and it's a really well acclaimed performance. So go check that out if you like this song. But I thought, you know, basically sooner or later, she's just letting Dick Tracy know that, look, man, you can resist all you want, but I'm going to get you. And then she likes the thrill of the chase. She says something there like, every time I kiss a guy, I never have to worry about chasing him again. So I thought it was really well done. I thought Madonna really pushed herself on it and sounded really good. Next up, we have Hanky Panky. I think I do know this song, right? I think I'm going to know it when I hear it. But, you know, Madonna, Patrick Leonard writing this one. The second and final single, talking about a woman who enjoys being spanked by her partner, performed in an almost comical style. It's a jazz and swing song with a changing bass line and minor to major key shift in the chorus. It's a top 10 hit in Australia, Ireland, Italy, the UK, and the US, while topping the charts in Finland. During an interview with Rolling Stone, Madonna explained, the spanking thing started because I believe that my character and Dick Tracy liked to get smacked around, and that's why she hung around with people like Al Pacino's character. Warren Beatty asked me to write some songs, and one of them, the Hanky Panky song, was about that. I say in the song, nothing like a good spanking. In the middle, I say, oh, my bottom hurts just thinking about it. When it came out, everybody started asking, do you like to get spanked? And I said, yeah, I do. Following its release, though, I mean, you get all these things and it's 1990, right? So following its release, it was initially blacklisted at some radio stations when they faced objections from audiences about the lyrical content. Nevertheless, it debuted on the Billboard Hot 100 at number 40 in the U.S. the week of June 30th, 1990, as Vogue was descending from the top 10. We'll get to Vogue later. It quickly climbed the chart, ultimately peaking at number 10. And she said later on that she doesn't like spanking. It was just about the character, right? But people get all wound up over stuff that nowadays, all the 30 plus years later, seems quite tame. Okay, Hanky Panky. I sort of knew that song, but not really. Not like I thought I was going to know it. It's fine. I actually like the first 2 songs better, but I mean, it's a fun little song. I could see why people in 1990 got upset. It's definitely deal at all, man. But yeah, it's a testament to like how famous and loved Madonna was that this song in 1990 was able to be played on popular radio stations and make it to number 10. It's kind of stunning to me. Not that it's a horrible song, it just didn't fit with everything that's going on then. Next up, we got a short tune. We got I'm Going Bananas. This one was written by Michael Kernan, Andy Paley, Madonna, and Leonard. I'm Going Bananas. Great percussion and drums, kind of a salsa type song in there. It feels longer than 1:40, right? In a good way. Like you don't feel shortchanged. Sometimes songs like that, they feel incomplete. Like she got a lot of vocals in here, but let's talk about those vocals, man. I would have never known that was her. She really sang with that accent, that flair. I mean, that was quite impressive. Just a fun little song. Next up, we have Cry Baby, another song from Madonna and Leonard. Cry Baby, let me tell you something, boys. You want to make sure that no one ever dedicates this song to you, right? Her man is just a crybaby, and she just basically makes fun of this guy throughout the song. In a playful way. I read one interview about this, or one commentary about it, saying she was trying to sing in a Betty Boop kind of voice, but it has the different sound effects. You've got those synth strings, the horns, all that good stuff, the trumpets, the bass. So it really sets a cinematic kind of just fun thing. I can picture her singing this song with a smile on her face and just kind of moving through the room. So yeah, I thought that was a good performance. Next up, we have Something to Remember, a much more personal song, also Madonna and Leonard on this one. Deals with her failed marriage to Sean Penn and was a source of inspiration for naming her 1995 compilation album. All right, Something to Remember. More of a traditional tune than fitting in kind of with the tone of this album. I really enjoyed it, I think, because if I didn't know what the song was about, then maybe I wouldn't quite enjoy it as much as I do. But knowing that she wrote it about her failed marriage to Sean Penn, it just makes it take on so much more power. So if you just listen to this casually and heard it, you might just think that's an okay song. But I like the chorus. I was not your woman. I was not your friend, but you gave me something to remember. No other man said, love yourself. Nobody else can. We weren't meant to be, at least not in this lifetime, but you gave me something to remember. I hear you still say, love yourself. So I thought that was just a really well done and mature outlook, right? I don't remember if their divorce was contentious or not. I mean, I know paparazzi was all over it, but just a really kind of an honoring thing to the marriage, understanding it wasn't meant to be, but she took the good out of it. Next up, we got another Leonard Madonna song. We got Back in Business. All right, Back in Business. One of those slow verse, fast chorus songs that kind of propels itself through the song. It's a song written where I like the way it progresses through the lyrics too, because in the first verse, I mean, it's a song written to someone who she obviously had a relationship or cared about, but he's too good of a guy. So I'm guessing Dick Tracy. I didn't see the movie. I worked in a movie theater when this movie was out, so I saw portions of the movie, but I've never seen the entire movie. But I'm guessing that he shunned her, or whoever our protagonist is gets shunned. But I'm going to show you. She starts it out. I'm going to show you that good guys don't always win. But then we go to verse 2. I'm going to show you good guys always finish last. And she sings it with almost a coldness, like, the heck with you. I'll clean it up, right? We'll keep it PG-13. But thought it was really well done. Obviously, the horns in this thing, you had the muted trumpet sounds. You got that saxophone solo at the end that's just fantastic. So really well done. Next up's one of those Stephen Sondheim songs. We got More. All right, More. Just like the other Stephen songs so far, sooner or later, is other songs going to be coming up next. It's just different, right? Not that the other songs aren't good. There's just a different level of writing. There's a different level of production because he's in there on the production. I mean, it is so well done. And it definitely pushes Madonna out of her comfort zone. She handled it very, very well. So, yeah, that song had more of a musical theater type feel to it in a very good way. But, yeah, I mean, that, the piano, all of it, just so well done. Now, these next 3 tracks are going to actually have some gentlemen joining Madonna. This one, Mandy Patinkin on What Can You Lose? This was also the Sondheim song, so let's check it out. What Can You Lose? I mean, really well done. Mandy Patinkin singing quite well on here. As I said earlier, I mean, the Stephen Sondheim songs, you feel the difference, the great piano, the great production. So well written, but a pretty good song. And Stephen actually shared in his memoir, I Made a Hat. He said the only reason for this song was Warren Beatty's desire to have Mandy Patinkin sing something in the movie. When I grumbled that since the character was undeveloped, anything he sang would feel arbitrary. Warren urged me to look at his dialogue and see if anything might suggest itself, even just a title. Sure enough, in the scene directly preceding the sequence of this song, 88 Keys, which is Mandy's character, offers Big Boy a proposition to trap Dick Tracy with the enticement. What can you lose? Stephen says, done. All right. Well done, right? production keys, all of it. Next up, and you see it below because it rolled over already, we got Now I'm Following You Part 1. And I'm going to go ahead and play Now I'm Following You Part 2 right afterwards. I mean, the first part's only a minute and a half. This is the one with Warren Beatty, so I'm curious to how Warren Beatty, I've never heard Warren Beatty sing. A litany of people wrote both of these tunes. Bill Myers, who played piano during the recording, recalled that it only took one take for Warren to do both of these songs. So that is quite impressive. Okay, Now I'm Following You. So now I get it. It's the same song. So part 1 is just a straight up rendition of it. Warren Beatty, it's a good thing he was a talented actor. Voice not horrible, but, Part 2 is just like trumped up. It's what you would have heard back in the day as like a big remix into a 12-inch single to put into the dance club. But the longer it went on, like the more it just stuck in my head. Like I actually like it. Like it's odd, right? It's odd to do that to the song, but it fits in with the, like it's pretty good. And it has a spoken bridge over it. And so there's some stuff going on there. And then at the end, Madonna says, "My bottom hurts just thinking about it." So, a throwback to the third song, Hanky Panky. So that was an interesting and kind of cool thing to do. Well, all right, we've reached the song, right? The song, Vogue. And I got a lot of info on it because it needs to have a lot of info on it. This was Madonna and Shep Pettibone, which Shep had worked with her on other things, some other remixes and stuff. But this was the lead single, quote, from the album. It's inspired by Vogue dancers and choreographers Jose Gutierrez Extravaganza and Luis Extravaganza from the Harlem house ball community, the origin of the dance form. And they introduced voguing to Madonna at the Sound Factory Club in New York City. Lyrically, the song's about enjoying oneself on the dance floor, no matter who one is, and it contains a theme of escapism. This thing sold over 6 million copies worldwide, 2 million in the US, the best-selling single in the world in 1990. The video, very well acclaimed, won a bunch of awards, and considered one of the greatest videos of all time. Best of all, I've got some quotes. First from Shep Pettibone. He said in an interview with Billboard, "She had the choruses together and the verses together. That's how she writes. She's fast. It's just like give her an idea and direction and she goes." And she actually flew in and they recorded this in this basement studio and they only had $5,000 to work on the song. So, which is crazy because Madonna's like, if not the biggest artist in the world in 1990, she's right there. I mean, Madonna told Rolling Stone all the way up in 2009, so after quite a bit of time. So I wrote it when I was making Dick Tracy. After we shot the movie, then boyfriend Warren Beatty asked me if I could write a song that would fit my character's point of view that she could have conjured up. She was obsessed with speakeasies and movie stars and things like that. The idea for the lyrics came through that request, and this little rap version that she does in there, throwing out old stars, was actually Shep's idea. In 1990, so when it came out, Pettibone told Entertainment Weekly, we were just after a fun club record. But when the record company bigwigs heard it, they said, this is a #1 smash. Let's not put it on a B-side and lose it. And it went to #1 in 30 different countries. All right, I know this song very well. I'm not going to lie to you, right? Because I never do. I used to dislike this song. Not at first. I'm just talking like if you were alive in 1990, this song was everywhere. And sometimes that's hyperbole. This is not hyperbole. I mean, I watched MTV constantly. It was on the radio constantly. So I haven't heard it in forever. I could tell you every lyric, but I'm interested in having time that has passed. And obviously my musical taste has broadened and expanded tremendously. Let's Vogue it up, boys and girls. All right, Vogue. I mean, obviously I knew it so well, but man, listening to it after all these years, this song is basically perfectly constructed, right? It's got that dance house, get you going. It's got that extended, like there's 4 different versions. Obviously there's a 12-inch. There's one on the Immaculate Collection, her greatest hits. There's this one, and then there's a single version that just cuts out the start of it, sort of where that extended intro. It's just so well done, right? It's so well done. I don't think it's her best song ever, but it is her most popular song ever. But it is really, really well done. It is a fantastic song. And if they would have buried it on a B-side, that would have been tragic. Now we're going to go to my favorite tracks. Honorable mentions, the first track, He's a Man. I'm Going Bananas, the shorter track where she did the Spanish thing. That was pretty impressive. And I got to do it, man. Now I'm Following You, Part 2. That remix that was just stuck in my head, my faves, Sooner or Later. Something to Remember, More, so 2 of the Stephen Sondheim. And of course, Vogue. It's just such a well done song. Now we're going to come to my overall score. Now going into this, I mean, I kind of alluded to it at the start. I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to think of this, man. I don't know what I'm going to think of this. And I was pleasantly surprised. Madonna really pushed herself, and I gave her a ton of credit, right, for putting herself. She did not need to do this. Like I said, I'm just going to say she was the biggest artist in the world in 1990. I mean, some of you are going to go search some different metrics and tell me she wasn't. I lived through it. If she wasn't, she's right there. She definitely did not have to do this. And you will find very few artists at this level of fame that will go out and push themselves on this. So I think this album is so well done. I think it's diverse, even though it has a common theme. I mean, the Sondheim songs are great, but, also, the song where she sings like Betty Boop, you got Something to Remember, where it's more of a personal thing about her relationship ending. You got Going Bananas, with the Spanish salsa flair. You've got Vogue. So overall on this album, I'm going to be at an 8.0, which I would not have thought coming in. So thank you to Doug for opening my eyes, and so many other patrons that we have. Just a fantastic job there. Let me know what else you'd like to see from Madonna on here. I mean, I know a lot of her 80s albums very well. I owned them all, but I don't really remember them. I haven't listened to them since then. But let me know what you think of this one. Let me know what else you think I should check out from her. And until next time, guys, I will see you.